All right. Hello and welcome. So, Paul Greene-Dennis here. Deep Green. I'm just gonna jump straight in. I think for those who saw what I've been posting, I've clearly have been saying I'm denouncing Zionism, and especially for those who denounce Zionism, this documentary, No Other Land, I if you can, because I'm gonna be also frank with this. This film hasn't been it's got limited exposure, as in not every single theater is showing it across the country. If you live near an indie theater, an indie movie theater, there's a good chance it's showing it because it's indie. If I would say this, you if there is a theater that you can go to that is showing this, if you can, I urge you to watch it. And it's not it's not an easy watch, but it's a very, very necessary watch. The thing away, even if you did, even if you have watched it, I'm trying to be fair about things here, and just to give like a synopsis, if you will. So the film obviously it does take place in Palestine, where specifically though it takes place in the West Bank. The filming of this documentary, it takes place over the span of roughly 4.5, 5 years, from 2019 to 2023, October 2023, basically right before the events. Actually, I want to say it. Do want to say it. It does go. It does say winter, October 2023. So I think it does go. It shades a little past October 7th. But basically, what it does, it chronicles in the lens of obviously a Palestinian activist, a native of the Masafayata village within the West Bank settlement, the West Bank. A Palestinian activist and an Israeli journalist who was there not just to obviously record everything that went on those 5 years of treatment of the Palestinians whenever the Israelis just came in and by law to demolish any of the any of the Palestinian villages whenever they showed up, whenever they felt like it, and they basically just came in. The Israeli army just came in, and even some armed settlers just came in. It's just like they're gonna show up to any Palestinian village within the West Bank, show up, demolish the whole village, and force the Palestinians by mass eviction off their land that is theirs by birthright, with no warning, no nothing, no regard of anything of life. And some sections of the documentary that were caught got very, 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 it got very nasty. And so much so that I will give kudos Not that I'm giving a cookie, but I'm giving kudos to the Israeli journalist who was there with the Palestinian activist Basel Basel Ad. I will give him credit just for having the balls to stand up to his own government, which give him all the credit in the world to do that, and to take on the Israeli government with with Basel Adra, the Palestinian activist who was recording everything, and he told him, "You're not gonna. This ain't gonna happen overnight. You got to keep on doing this, even though it's uneasy. What you're doing with us and how they're perceiving you, you have to keep on doing this. Keep on doing this." Hence, why they've been filming all of this over the course of 4.5, 5 years. Like the Israelis just coming in. Which, by the way, I don't want to give too much away, but the Israelis can go wherever they please, they feel they want, whether it's their um, Israeli roads or the Palestinian roads. Meanwhile, the Palestinians, they can't. They're not even allowed to go in any Israeli settlement whatsoever. And if their village got pillaged, demolished, taken over, that was it. And the Israelis can come and just abuse them whenever they want. It was just so disheartening. And the crazy about it, it was so, and I don't want to give too much away. They were systematically throughout those 5 years, systematically taking over the West Bank to entrap all the Palestinians in Gaza, which led up to what happened on October 7th and beyond. I don't need to relitigate that because that's fucking dark and horrific. But and it wow. I encourage anyone, if you live by a theater that is showing this documentary, please, it may not show every October 7th, and truth be told, thank God it didn't, because even the events leading up to it is horrific enough to explain how it got there and how everybody keeps on saying October 7th, Hamas. No, this film debunks all that shit. It debunks all that shit. This documentary just debunks all of that. They're, they're how they're filming every single Israeli, practically, let's call it what it is, an invasion to demolish homes, demolish villages within the West Bank, and how the Israelis just didn't give a fuck about the Palestinians. And if you dared, as an Israeli, to go against them, like Yusuf did when he went on TV later on in the movie, and in his own land, his own people basically said, "Fuck the Palestinians. How dare you help them? You're a traitor. They know nothing." That's basically what they did. And he's been trying to explain this, and yet they just don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. His own people. That just goes to show you how fucked up the how embedded the government's propaganda is, the Israeli propaganda is. And not only that, they even mentioned the United States. Mind you, I said they used footage from clips from 2017 when they talked about another Palestinian displacement. And the very, very, very limited clips that actually did dare talk about it. Iman from MSNBC, who got fired. Hmm. And he was constantly talking about it because that's his fellow people. They mentioned that clip that was from 2017. They talked about that displacement in 2017, and it that and how they talked about the United States, if we put more pressure on them with we have to keep filming, we have to keep filming, and we have to keep filming. And what's crazy is that the Palestinians, even though they're getting all their homes demolished, their perseverance of how they had to learn to circumvent the Israeli occupation by literally building schools under the darkness of night during this apartheid, and then learning how to operate so that they can avoid, especially the especially Basil Adra Youssef, filming this while it's all going on, learning to avoid, even when they have to confront it, avoid getting arrested, everything, or damn near getting arrested, while filming this whole entire tragedy. And they were basically doing everything to rebuild as soon as their their villages were completely demolished, bulldozed to the ground. They had to literally go into dirty caves to live and make the most out of living life in caves because they no longer had a home. And it's an everyday thing that was going on. An everyday thing. And it still is. Let's not get it twisted. It still is. And to show you how much the fight the spirit, the the perseverance these Palestinians have to survive, to keep on surviving in such conditions. I advise anybody who watches this documentary to brace yourself. Brace yourself because it is not going to be easy to watch what is going on. And they tell you, even in the film, they tell you that the Western media, all they see is, oh, Palestinians are thugs, they're terrorists, Hamas. Meanwhile, this documentary completely debunks that BS. Even though it's been debunked, watch it and mm-mm, 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 mm. You're not going to be able to look at corporate media the same way if you still look at corporate media. This film is not for the faint of heart, but as much as it's not for the faint of heart, it is very, 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 very necessary to watch if you can. I cannot recommend this documentary while it's still going on. I cannot recommend it enough to go and watch it. Please brace yourself though, but please do watch it. Please. And keep up the good fight and call out all Zionism. I know my review should be longer, but I don't want to give too much away. I really don't. I advise you to go out and watch it with the gist of that in mind, what you're going to expect. Okay? Paul Greene-Dennis out. Deep Green VO, DJ Deep Green. Have a good night and keep your peace and keep yourself from burnout. Good night.